Hey, 7th grade, Mr. Hildebrand here. This is a video recording for the lesson that we did on the 30th, so September 30th, Wednesday, in case you missed the Zoom lesson or in case you missed school for some reason. The first thing we did is I did share a video. It's called Checking In with Swidera. It's on my YouTube page, so you can always go to YouTube and search my name, TJ Hildebrand, and my channel pop up. And Checking with Swidera, I was just showing off some of the awesome projects and work that you guys have done. Some of your other teachers, even 6th grade teachers from last year, popped in the video to share cool things that you guys are doing. I just wanted to share that so that your parents could see that you're working hard, and just wanted to encourage you guys. So there are a couple student shout-outs, so you can watch the video, see if you get a shout-out and any of your projects show up on the screen. After that, what we did is we got ready and prepared for our test, and we were kind of filling out this Unit 2 study guide together. Now, if you need to know where this is, if you go to Canvas, not quizzes, sorry. If you go to the World History page, it looks like this. Click on Modules. Week 6, go to Assignments, or actually, let's go to Lesson Notes and Links. Down here at the bottom, there's Unit 2 Study Guide. So you click on that, it pops up and looks like this. Just say Unit 2 Study Guide at the top. Now, what we did is we kind of went down through and answered stuff together. And what I'm going to do in this video is kind of highlight some of the big ones. So, for example, we talked about what's an agora. Remember, we said an agora was a market, part of an ancient Greek city. We kind of compared it to like our stores or our restaurants in our neighborhoods. We want to know, what is a polis? Well, polis is the fancy Greek word for city. Okay, so if those two words pop up on the test, don't be surprised. The next one, and your test is Friday. Don't worry. I'll be on Zoom to help you out. And there's a Kahoot and stuff you can check out on the Lesson Notes and Links page to study. We talked about Greece's geography, how they had lots of mountains and lots of water, sea, ocean all around them. The mountains made it difficult to trade and travel. We talked about how the seas, or the oceans, made it easy to travel. We talked about the types of ancient Greek governments. We talked about democracy, and that's rule of the people, the citizens. Whoops. We talked about how citizens vote. We talked about what is a monarchy. Remember, mono means one, so that's one person in charge. And that's a king or a queen. Power is passed on to their heirs or children when they die. All right, for oligarchy, we talked about it's a small group of people who are in charge. And typically they are wealthy. Typically. We talk about tyranny. That's also one person in charge. And they get their power and they keep their power through violence. We talked, I'm going to push this on to the next page, about who was allowed to be a citizen in ancient Greece. We talked about how it was restricted to men who were born in the city, who in some cities were land owners, which would make them rich, typically, trying to think what else we said for this one. Let me pause for a second. Okay, I think for this question, we then just moved on to saying who was excluded. So who was not a citizen in ancient Greek cities. And that would have been women. They had slaves, kids, immigrants, and I might be missing one, but that's what we'll go for right now. Our next question was, what rights did citizens have? In some cities, like Athens, where they had democracy, they could vote. They could own land, property, defend themselves in court. Depending on their government, they could hold public office, which means to work for the government. If I think of any, I'll add them to there. you can always check out the Week 3 Nearpod. That has a bunch of information on this too. Then we talked about Hellenism, the Hellenistic time period, what the heck does that mean, the Hellenistic age. Anytime you see this word Hellenes, just know it's another word for the Greeks. In this time period, everyone was trying to be like the Greeks. Greek language, religion, art, philosophy, science, all spread around the world. And that was mostly due to Alexander the Great expanding his empire and then spreading these ideas. Okay. All right, so how did the Greek cities treat each other during the Persian War? We know in the Persian Wars they worked together and then made them stronger. And then how did they treat each other afterwards? Well, Athens is stealing money from other cities, money, also bossing people around. This causes a war, and that's going to make them weaker. Athens and Sparta. It's going to be a test question to ask you what are some differences between the two. You're going to have to think about men, women, boys, okay, the military, school, all those kind of things. We hit those for a couple days, so you guys are experts on that, so I'm not going to add that in here. Peloponnesian War, that is when we had Team Sparta. Remember, Sparta and their allies versus Team Athens. That was that war because Athens was bossing everybody around, taking their money, trying to form an empire. And that's called the Peloponnesian War. Why is it called that? Because it was fought on the Peloponnesus. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Let's see if I got it. Nope, I didn't. Fix it. Peloponnesus. And that was the land where they fought. So they called that because the Peloponnesus was the land where they fought. On the test, you might see a map, and you're probably going to see that word Peloponnesus. Okay, that'll help remind you. Who was Philip II? We talked about how he was the king of Macedonia, who wanted to conquer Greece. Demosthenes, he was a public speaker who warned the people about Philip. And then what did Philip do to conquer the Greeks? How did he get his power? Well, he is going to bribe people with gold. He's going to betray his allies when they're not looking, when they're not ready. He will start fights. Start fights between cities. Then, when they're both weak, he'll attack them. And then he had a lot of political marriages. He got married a lot into royal families and political families just to try to get power. So that is kind of what we talked about today. I'm going to post this Unit 2 study guide kind of filled in with our collective notes that we came up with onto Canvas so that if you need to study or look over it before the test, you can feel free to do that. All right, folks, if you have questions, send me an email. I will talk to you guys tomorrow.